Hello everybody, my name is Zach, aka the Weather Gamer, bringing you a new draft again. Yeah, I know, there's been a lot of them. We're at number 5 now, I think? 4, because I haven't done SBT yet. 4, but the Vermillion City Zeraoras are making their debut. Logo by John Jr. I talked about it in a previous video, if you want to see that interview with John. But yeah. The Zeraoras finally get to make their first appearance, and it's in the Pokemon Master Cup, I believe? Masters Cup? Yeah, Pokemon Masters Cup, which is commissioned by Warmar. It is a Wi-Fi league. There are 8 coaches. Aaron 12, PBAL, Absolute, from PBAL and LDL. Jet is also here from LDL, the commissioner. I think that's everybody you guys are going to recognize. So, but yeah, it's Wi-Fi. There's only 8 of us. It is tier-based. 1 tier 1, tier 2, 2 tier 3s. What's the rest of it? A tier 4, tier 5, and then 400 for 4 free mons. So this draft went a little better than my previous drafts. I got a lot of what I was trying to get, but still had a few snipes here and there. But I'm excited for this draft, and I'm excited for it to be Wi-Fi. First pick, shut up. I was 4th overall, by the way. Shut up. I don't want to hear it. I know I've drafted Zeraora a lot lately. I'm on a bit of a hot streak with it, okay? This is the 3rd draft that I've got Zeraora. I mean, I really am on a hot streak with Zeraora. It's been lighting it up. I've never gotten to use Zeraora in Wi-Fi, so I'd like to try that and see how it goes. Mascot pick. And I've actually been testing this team out. I took it on the ladder and tested it to see how it would work, and it did very well for me. I think I ended up in the Natdex ladder, or the OU ladder. I think I ended up in like 1400s is where I topped out. I got to like 1401, and then I went on a losing streak, which is the highest I've ever gotten on the ladder. So, but Zeraora is fantastic. It's a great speedy electric type. You know, in Wi-Fi there are so few things that outspeed it. Regieleki, a Selgor, Ninjask, and there's one more, but I can't think of what it is off the top of my head. This thing outspeeds Dragapult, which is really, really nice. I've talked about this thing so much that I'm not going to, waste too much time on it. You can check out my other draft analysis on it, but fantastic move pool, physical special, setup sweeper, banded, scarfed, spexed, life orb sets. It's an all-around great utility in Gloomon, and I hope to continue the hot streak and have Zeraora, run up on somebody in Wi-Fi for this time. If I could repeat NCL's stat line with Zeraora and Wi-Fi, I'd be very, very happy. Second round, Garchomp. I finally got it. The fucking dragon I've been trying to get at for, 4 or 5 drafts, 6 drafts now. Ever since Garchomp came out, DLC, I've been trying to draft it. I loved using it the first time around, even though I dropped out of that league. Garchomp is fantastic. Swords Dance, Scale Shot, very lethal. Because there's your Dragon Dance and you're actually at +1, not +2. Yes, losing defense stat and Ice Shard's problematic, but it gives me Stealth Rocks. Chomp can actually be really annoyingly defensive with Rocky Helmet, Rough Skin. It does have a decent move pool. Ferrothorn can't sit in on it because it does get Fire Fang. I think it gets Fire Blast, but don't quote me on that. For some reason, I feel like it does, because I remember there being a special Chomp set. But I very well could be mixing it up with Salamence, because, you know, I have both those dragons right now, and I guarantee you I'll screw it up at some point. No, it does get Fire Blast and Flamethrower, to check, you know, physically defensive Ferrothorn and all that. Obviously, Poison Jab is really nice for fairy types trying to switch in. Its dual stab is just incredibly good. And it's a great ground type and a great dragon type. Two types that I really, really enjoy. And paired with Zeraora, their synergy is very, very nice. Zeraora does not necessarily like ground types. Garchomp doesn't really care. And their speed just really pairs nicely together. Zeraora is already forcing Scarfers. Garchomp is forcing the base 100s into Scarfing now, because Garchomp sits at 102, which is really, really nice as well. So, continuing the offensive firepower of this team, I drafted Lucario. Another mon on the list of things that I had been wanting to try for a very, very long time. I've always drafted other fighting types, other steel types, and Lucario is one of my favorite mons, just in general. Ever since I saw Lucario, The Mystery of Mew, I've just loved Lucario. I think it's a great offensive mon. Base 90 speed. It has the ability to set up both physically and specially. It can run physical and special sets. Its attack and physical or special attack are so close together. Yeah, it's not a true fairy resist because of the fighting type, but it still functions as a very good wall breaker, and I am really, really excited to try this out and see. When I was testing this on the ladder, I was using Nasty Plot a lot, and it put in work. A lot of work. So, this is a lethal offensive core that I've got right here, and I'm very, very happy about it. Going into round 4, I picked Araquanid, another mon that I've been partial to in the past. I just love it. It's a great special wall. It can be a very good physical wall. Sticky Web support is really nice. Obviously, Mirror Coat, if you're a special set, can be very problematic for opponents. You know, Volt switching, as long as I take the Volt switch, I can Mirror Coat back double the damage, which would be great. Lunge, you know, the Sub-Soak Toxic Infestation set, which is the Scum set. Great, you know, Fire Check, even for Lucario, even though Garchomp does it. Outside of Freeze Dry, it's another ice resist, so Garchomp doesn't have to worry about it. Gives me a very good ground resist because, you know, Zeraora and Lucario don't necessarily like ground type hits. And again, it's really nice because it forces Scarfers are forced out because of Sticky Webs. It neutralizes those Scarfs, allowing Chomp and Zeraora to kind of go off, as well as Lucario. Putting those through under Sticky Webs is just going to be nightmarish for my opponents. Speaking of decent defensive mons that also function as very good offensive threats, I grabbed Decidueye. This is the third time I've grabbed Decidueye in Wi-Fi. The last 2 times I ended up keeping it and then dropping it in LDL, I think is where I dropped it. I want to give this thing another shot. I definitely think Decidueye can do a lot of work. It's just in the past I've had Gengar sitting there, and Gengar usually steals Decidueye's thunder. And so, now I can actually give Decidueye a chance. Under Webs, again, very lethal. Because it can set up Swords Dance, it can set up specially with Calm Mind. It does have special sets with Shadow Ball. It can be an annoying trapper with Spirit Shackle. Obviously, it can defog. You know, Sub Leech Seed support set is a viable option. So, I'm hoping that now that I don't have Gengar or another Ghost type, you know, leeching off a Decidueye, that I can actually let Decidueye shine, because I think it's a very good mon. I really think it's a good mon in general, and it's something that I'm hoping to get rolling with. Now, these tiers, I will say, were very, very screwed up. The majority of things that you normally see in Tier 3 were in Tier 2. A lot of Tier 2 things were in Tier 1. A lot of Tier 4 was in Tier 3. So there was a lot of garbage in Tier 5. There were maybe 8 viable mons in Tier 5. And so I had to dive down to get a Tier 5 mon before they all got sniped, and 2 of my next 3 picks are actually my Tier 5s. The thing that sucks, so Zeraora and Garchomp, there's, 2 Tier 1s, I burned 180 points. So Lucario's in Tier 2, so that's a lot of points burnt up there. Or my Tier 2 slot's already burnt up. I couldn't look at, Togekiss, which on my trial team, I had Togekiss. I couldn't grab that because it was in Tier 2 at the time, and I had other things I needed to get. Sylveon in Tier 2. Again, those 2 are pretty normal. Incineroar is the mon that I really wanted to use on this team, but it was in Tier 2. When has Incineroar ever been Tier 2? It should be Tier 3. That's where it sits beautifully, and for some reason it was in Tier 2. It ended up getting sniped before I could even get around to it, so it didn't matter. But that's where I got into some trouble with the tiers here. But going down into Tier 5, Flareon coming back. Last time I used it was APA Academy. And before that, I had some moderate success with it in APA Indigo, Season 4. I love Flareon. I know I sniped Jet on this, because he and I were talking. We're like, there's nothing viable in Tier 5. And so he left his picks with me, and I'm like, dude, you're not getting Flareon because that's literally my next pick in about 3 picks. So, sorry, but no. It gives me a Cleric. Flareon, not typically a Cleric. Obviously, the Guts set is very common, just as a powerful wall breaker. Flash Fire giving me another Fire-type immunity for Lucario and Decidueye. Granted, Arachnid and Garchomp kind of handle that already, but it does help with that. Something that's Godoa Dragon said to me during a draft stream that I did with him for PBAL, it doesn't matter the size of the wish that's passed. It's the, sorry, I just got pinged for LDL. Recording. It does give me Wish Pass. And however minor it is, I could still pass into Zeraora or Garchomp or Lucario as they're coming back in to get set up. So it's nice there. So I did mention I went back down to Tier 2. I didn't have a Fairy type, I didn't have a Dark type, and I kind of needed both. So I grabbed Grimmsnarl. Grimmsnarl's a mon that I've been wanting to try. I've learned that it's a much better defensive mon than it is an offensive mon, but it can be very offensive. It gives me priority screens, it gives me T-Wave, again, slowing everything down, so Garchomp and Zeraora and Lucario kind of just go in. Taunt is really nice, obviously, to keep opponents from putting hazards up against me, because my team sucks as a hazard removal. And then Spirit Break is always nice to lower special attack. For Fairy Stab, it can set up with bulk ups, it can set up with nasty plots. It can function as both a physical and special attacker. So it doesn't always mean that I'm bringing support Grimmsnarl. Speaking of needing to grab 2 Tier 5s because I burnt 300 points on Garchomp and Grimmsnarl, I went and grabbed Swoobat, so that aforementioned problem of defogging. Swoobat can defog. I mean, really, Swoobat's here as a support mon. It gives me a flying and a psychic type. Obviously, the simple Calm Mind Stored Power set is the most common set run on it. But with Heavy Duty Boots defog, it can be a decent, defogging option. 114 speed is nice. Now I got something between Garchomp and Zeraora, even though Zeraora is still way out in front. I would have liked having a base 120, but I didn't end up picking up any base 120s, so yeah, it's just how the chips fell, because these tiers were really screwed up. So that leaves my 2 Tier 4s. I picked up a Alolan Sandslash. Again, Rapid Spin. and Rocks and Spikes. So this gives me a lot of hazard setting as well, just in one mon. That's not great, but that's still the best I could do. Gives me an Ice type. Yes, it does give me another Steel type, which is not necessarily a good thing. Quad weak to Fire type, but I got Flareon, Araquanid, and Garchomp that kind of handle that for me. No, I don't have a Hail setter. I didn't run Hail, so, you know, PBAL, I got Zeraoras. Here, I got A-Slash. Go figure. I don't know. I just couldn't get them both together. But, because, you know, I sniped Aaron of Zeraoras and PBAL. He sniped it from PMC here. So, I got to the last pick, and I'm like, I don't know. I need a Ghost type, or not a Ghost type. I'm missing a type. I can't think of what type it is right now. Rock type. Yeah, I'm missing a Rock type. I think that's the only typing I was missing. Please, drafting dock. I think Rock type's the only one I'm missing on this team. It might be one other type. I know I don't have a normal type. Poison. Rock and Poison. So nothing to absorb poison, or yeah, Poison Spikes, T-Spikes. But I got Slash that can spin them, and I've got Swoobat and Decidueye that can defog them. Lucario doesn't care about them, so Grimmsnarl can taunt them. Anywho, there weren't any good Tier 4 Poison types, or Rock types, really, that fit my team and didn't make me super weak to a different type. So, at that point in the draft, I was just kind of done. I also had SBT drafting, and I used my famous fuck it adjustment. Fuck it adjustment. Give me Golisopod. We'll try it. We'll see what happens. You know, there's no reason for Golisopod to be on this roster. Araquanid's here already, and A-Slash set Spikes as well, but I said fuck it. I'm going to use Golisopod. So, that's going to be the team. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think of this team, how you think I'm going to do in this Wi-Fi. Am I going to do well, or am I going to start hot like it seems I do in Wi-Fi and then crater? So, let me know. I'll see you guys next time.